Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Bin. Welcome back to another episode of Blu Ocean Crypto. So MAVIA just did a recent AMA that blew us all away, let's just say. They covered a lot of different things, talking about the roadmap for this year. They also highlighted a lot of the accomplishments that they had from the previous year. Sunny and Julian really did a great job presenting that. It was really nice that they took the time to do it. I know it answered a lot of burning questions that people had in the community. So I want to go through a recap. I've re-listened to it a few times, made notes, and also I made a post about it too, kind of highlighting the main things. So I want to give you guys a summary of all of that, as well as my insight and opinion on what we can expect and how some of these things are actually going to roll out. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
I want to play.
Okay, so we can see here on December 31st, they talked about how they were going to do the AMA on the 3rd. You can definitely still play the recording. It was just a half an hour session. So I highly recommend that if you haven't listened to that AMA, but you're here watching this video, go through the video first, obviously, and then jump into watching or listening to the recording because it's going to give you a lot of additional insight. Now, like I said, they first talked about a lot of the major accomplishments that they hit during 2024. You know, we had the marketplace rollout, there was land integration, the new HQs. I mean, there was a lot that really happened. And I mean, if we think about it, the game was just launched last year too. Now, you kind of have to zoom out a little bit in the entire Web3 gaming ecosystem to kind of compare the pace that MAVIA is accomplishing to other projects, because when you're deep in the trenches, it always feels like it's going slower than it should. And there has been some delays, and I'm sure that's part of the reason why people kind of feel like things are taking a while. But actually, what I wanted to say was they're going a lot quicker than most other Web3 projects. So that's definitely something to note there. Now, as far as the main highlights, which I know is what you guys are most interested in, I listed them all here, and not necessarily in order of importance, except I did put my favorite at the top, which is wars are confirmed. Now, I've talked about this in many other videos. I think now, especially if you've been following this channel for a while, you understand my insight on that, but I want to go through it again just in case this is the first time you're hearing. This is all we need to complete the game. If you look back at other base builder games, you know, like a lot of people don't even know that Clash of Clans was actually a copy of another game. You know, they weren't the first base builder game, but anyways, when wars were available in Clash of Clans, it was actually the community that created the esports and the competitive scene. It wasn't the company. So it allowed the game organically to create an esports or competitive focus. And that's why I know, and I'm very confident, that wars is the linchpin needed to really kind of take everything to that next level. Because now there's a competitive aspect, there's a reason to max and push your base aside from just farming Ruby. There's going to be a desire to compete with new players coming in. We're going to have the content that we want to stay active within the game. It's going to add a lot of collaboration between teams and alliances. It's just really going to bring everything to a whole new level. So, I mean, also all the big Web2 esports teams that MAVIA has partnered with, they're waiting for wars. That's the main feature for them to really take a much more active role in the ecosystem. So this is massive. I was also really happy to hear, just kind of moving along, that the MAVIA Elite skins are going to be this year. And there was, some people were feeling that it was mentioned that it would be Q1, so actually pretty quickly. And Sunny also asked us specifically if maybe we had any ideas on how we could keep that program going or reinstate it, so we can give the option for people to collect more of those skins or finish their sets. I've kind of been thinking about a couple things, but I haven't really formulated, in my opinion, something that I would be confident recommending yet. But it's really cool to hear that they're open to kind of doing that. And I'm just excited for all of us who've been involved in MAVIA Elite, who have all these elite points ready to deploy on these skins. Crafting system, this is a huge one. We were expecting to get it in December. So obviously, because it's delayed, that's probably something that's already been worked on or close to being finished. Pardon me, close to being finished. But what they did mention is that there's going to be a system where essentially you get to burn, let's say, 2 NFTs for the crafting item. And then they were considering potentially giving people the ability to undo that. But from what I can tell, it kind of seems like they're definitely leaning into the burning mechanic. And I think that's going to be really great, especially because we want more NFTs in the ecosystem. We want more decorations. We want more things. This is going to be a great way to help improve the value as we get more and more assets into the game. We don't have to worry about everything being diluted. So I actually am really a big fan for the burning mechanism that crafting is going to enable. But what do we get from crafting? That's kind of unknown. They also talked about 3 new HQs for this year. That's really aggressive. That means like a little more than every quarter, basically, we're going to be getting a new HQ. So this definitely lit a fire under my ass. I mean, I'm already really on top of leveling and progressing my base, but knowing that wars are coming, plus the rate of new HQs, if you really want to stay competitive in this game, you need to get a point where your base is maxed before the next HQ comes out. So I'm really shooting for making sure I at least have a month or two where my base is finished. I'm at the highest level, on everything before that next HQ comes out. And that's going to be even more important when we have wars, because the power and defensive ability of your base and the level of your troops are going to impact your team's ability to win. They also talked about 2 new heroes, which is really awesome. I mean, we already know who they are. It's going to be Brutus and Diesel. So Diesel's interesting. He definitely looks like more of a ranged healer. And then Brutus is going to be the tank. We know that the Warlord is really more of a bruiser. But I mean, adding 2 new heroes, I'm sure they're probably going to come with the new HQ levels. They talked about adding new structures. This is really going to mix up the meta base building. So super excited for that. We don't know exactly what it is, but of course, I'm assuming it's most likely going to be defensive structures. They also talked about a big marketing push coming up with the final release of their marketplace, and how they're going to really be pushing towards that. Kind of ties into how they mentioned some whales are going to be entering too, that there's some of their bigger partners who've been waiting for the marketplace to finish before they really deploy. So, I think what Sunny said was, do what we want with that information, but just be aware of it. They also talked a little bit about the exchange listings and what they can and can't comment on about that, which is really nice for them to at least address it. They also talked about how we're going to get the arbitrage tool soon, and I know that's probably the last component of the marketplace, plus fixing some of the issues and bugs, and then it's completed. And then, of course, land partnering and renting. So this is massive. Just in my other video, I talked about it before. We needed the marketplace finished, land partnering and renting and wars. That was it. Now we have all these other things that we're being told about. Now, it's interesting, though, because there was one thing not mentioned, and it made me wonder, because they talked about a new game mode. They meant new game mode that was supposed to be released in January. And I didn't hear anything about that in the AMA. So I'm not sure if maybe that plan has changed. Maybe they decided to focus on wars because they know that it's important, or maybe that's just something they're keeping for a surprise for us. Also, we do know about statues. They did mention that statues are coming. And I'm not sure when, but they were promised in December, so I'm assuming pretty quickly. So I am super stoked. Everything is lining up perfectly, in my opinion. These are all the key features that we wanted to see, plus a lot of other extra things. I would argue just do the wars. A lot of the other stuff I can wait on, but that's my perspective. But why not, right? If we can get new HQs, new heroes, new structures, all of that fun stuff along the way leading us up to wars, I'm sure that's going to help massively with player retention and just really getting everyone excited about participating in MAVIA again. Okay, let me know what your comments are down below, what you're most excited about. Was there anything that you maybe weren't excited about? I'm definitely interested to hear from all of you guys. And I just want to say thanks so much for being subscribed to the channel. Always makes a big difference. Do me a favor and smash that like button so we can get this content out to more people. Okay, see y'all in the next video. Cheers.